Just when you thought things couldn't get any more tense at Arsenal, the game against Palace happens. Not only did we squander a 1-goal lead on 2 occasions, but we managed to have our captain tell the fans to fuck off as he left the field. Now, a lot has been said about the Xhaka incident, and I for one feel both parties bear a sense of responsibility and accountability, but that's not what this video is about. You see, because the real issue here is the manager. It's Unai Emery. And if the reports are to be believed, he's feeling a little hot under the collar right now. And so he should be. Let's not forget what we were told when he was appointed. We were sold dreams of high pressing, attacking football, reminiscent of Wenger's teams of old. And we believed it, even though there was nothing in Emery's past to suggest such philosophies were in store. We were assured the defense would be sorted out and that the youth would be given a chance. Now, to give credit where credit is due, Emery has blooded in the likes of Bukayo Saka, Joe Willock, and of course Matteo Guendouzi. But even with this talented crop of youngsters, Emery continues to show his fraudulent credentials. If I were to ask you right now what Liverpool's identity as a club is, you'd probably say high-pressing, relentless football. If I asked you the same question about Sheffield, you'd say a strong defensive base with innovative overlapping centre-backs. Now what if I asked you for Arsenal's identity? Are we a pressing team? Do we maintain possession to pull defenders out of position to fashion chances for our strikers? So I have no idea. And I don't think Emery does either. Now, he isn't the only one at fault here. This should be a joint effort between the manager and the likes of Raul Sanelli and Edu to construct the culture around the club. But week in and week out, Emery has shown that his brilliant footballing mind can't stand up to Premier League opposition. The total lack of tactical awareness is honestly baffling. You mean to tell me that Lucas Torreira, a man who averaged over 4 tackles and interceptions per game at Sampdoria, is a fucking box-to-box midfielder? He seems to set up with a pivot of Guendouzi and Xhaka, where neither are excellent ball progressors. Sure, they have their moments, but they aren't the metronome of the side in the same way a Jorginho or a Kroos is. We suffer from a complete lack of drive in the midfield. We get hardly any deep progressions. This is why we have seen David Luiz resort to these long balls again and again and again, because we simply cannot progress the ball through the thirds to the final, into the opposition's penalty area or in and around that. Our outlet ball tends to be Guendouzi, who as soon as he gets it, looks to see if Pepe, Tierney, Chambers, Aubameyang, whoever is on the flank, if they are ready to receive it. This inability to drive the ball up the field means that despite the fact that we have the 5th highest possession in the league, we have only scored 16 goals. This brings a very important question. If we're struggling to create goals, if we are struggling to progress the ball through the midfield, maybe a possible solution would be to utilize a player who can do both of those things. And there's no point in me beating a dead horse. We all want to know where Mesut Ozil is. I am not happy for him to just simply show up in the Carabao Cup and Europa League fixtures. This is a quality player who deserves to be playing quality minutes in the Premier League. And if he's not going to, we as the fans at least deserve an explanation as to why he isn't. But to me, it's a simple equation. We need more progression in the midfield. We need greater creativity behind the strikers so that they don't have to drop so deep in order to link up the play further up the field. When we have a man sitting on the bench who we are paying £350,000 a week to, then maybe we should utilize him a little bit more than what Emre has decided. Let's look at this. We are 10th for shots inside the box and 8th for shots per game. Our expected goals is currently sitting at 15.5. This indicates that we are slightly overperforming when it comes to our chances. This puts us at 7th for expected goals, whilst we are 9th for expected goals against. Over the course of the season, unless we keep overperforming to some extent, the data suggests a top 4 finish is going to be a hell of a lot more difficult than we anticipated, especially with the emergence of Leicester as serious contenders, and not to mention Chelsea, who for some reason we all just wrote off at the beginning of the season and are now beginning to show glimpses of real quality and class in their footballing ability. You see, Arsenal have a team that could be set up to play high-pace, exciting football, but that just isn't going to happen under Emery. He showed it at Sevilla, he showed it at PSG, and now he's doing it in the red side of North London to our fucking disgust. Now, I was going to talk about our defensive issues, but I don't think that it needs much explanation. Our centre-back pairings are genuinely shocking. Socrates is an average to slightly above average defender at best. David Luiz is just an accident waiting to happen. Sead Kolasinac is not even a left back, but thank God we have Tierney coming in. Small note there actually. In the few games that I've seen Tierney play in the Carabao Cup and in the league, man is looking really good. I think he's going to adapt super well to the pace and physicality of the league, and I think having him whipping balls in from the left is going to be a real treat for us later on in the season. But I digress. Our defensive issues are plain and clear to everyone. The question is, are we going to splash the cash in January to fix it? I do not think so. With us being linked to the likes of Akanji and Upamecano, both of which are probably going to cost upwards of 50 million, 40 million pounds or euros, I don't think that that is a deal that's going to get done in the summer, which means, because we are the luckiest fans in the world, we get to have a full season of Socrates and David Luiz partnering each other. Ladies and gentlemen, if I do not make it to the end of the season, I want it written on my tombstone that my cause of death was that centre-back pairing. But on a brighter note, I think our defensive issues are going to be slightly resolved when Hector Bellerin comes back. I think that he offers not only a better attacking threat down the flank, but I personally think that he's a better one-on-one defender than Callum Chambers, mainly due to the pace. So hopefully when he's back fully fit in the squad, we'll be able to benefit from that. And last thing about the defense, I know I mentioned it earlier, but I do seriously think that when we start playing players in their actual position, we might have more success. What that means is playing Lucas Torreira as a fucking defensive midfielder, because that is where he is best and that is where he should be playing. That is why we bought him. We did not buy him to be a box-to-box midfielder. Convert Guendouzi to a box-to-box midfielder if you feel so inclined that we need one, but don't do it to Lucas Torreira, who is objectively our best defensive midfielder. Now, with all of this talk about the pressure mounting on Emery, I thought it would be interesting just to discuss 4 possible managers who I think are either in the running or I would love to see. So the two people who I think have an actual serious shot at taking the seat if Emery were to leave. Oh, by the way, I'm not including Freddie Ljungberg in this, because I think that we all know that if Emery were to leave, Freddie is probably going to take over until the end of the season, and then after that, that's when the serious search for a manager will come. But in the instance that Emery leaves and we're looking for a permanent manager, I think I have 3 candidates who would be really fun, who I would love to see there. And then there's also one that I'm not too excited about, but seems almost very likely to happen. So let's start with that one. I have a weird feeling that if Emery were to go, we would hire Mourinho. Am I excited about it? No. Do I think it's the worst decision? Also no. Because if there's one thing Mourinho has done over the years and has shown us, it's that he can at least organize a defense. And I think that if we were able to organize the defense, our attack is good enough to carry through the lack of tactics and ability that Mourinho has on that front. It's the most boring pick out of the 3, but I think that it's one that could actually happen. The other 3 are Jesse Marsch from RB Salzburg. I think he plays an incredibly fun and attacking style of football. When you watch them in the Champions League, you see Haaland just going hard as a motherfucker in these games. Super fast, really good link-up play, small triangles, 1-2 football. I just really like the idea of having a young manager come in and bring a sense of attacking urgency to Arsenal Football Club. The third manager I think I would like to talk about is Allegri. When I found out that he was on the shortlist for managers that we could have gotten when we were deciding who was going to replace Wenger, and we ended up taking Emery over him, to say I was livid is an understatement, because Allegri, in my opinion, simply trumps Emery in every single category. The reason I like Allegri is almost the same reason that I like Mourinho. I think he's going to set up the defense really well. He's going to make sure that we're hard to break down. We're going to be a well-drilled, well-structured team, which is something that I don't think Arsenal have had in a long time. And I think it's something we could really benefit from. And the final manager is Marco Rose from Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are currently sitting top of the Bundesliga. Again, a really exciting manager who plays super fun, super attacking football, but is also able to maintain good defense that doesn't leak many goals. At the end of the day, I don't think Mourinho is getting sacked during the season. I think the board is going to let him see it out. They're going to make the decision after the season, and I think it's going to be dependent on things like how far we go in the Europa League, how far we go into FA Cups, where we finish, all those standard things. Of course, on the current run of form, I don't want Emery to stay, but it's a long season, anything can change, and you know that I'm going to be here every step of the way, updating and talking to you guys. This is Matt, this has been Goals and Hoops, hope you enjoyed.